What I Wouldn't Do is actually, it's not technically the first song that I wrote on this album, but it's sort of the first song that defined the album. I was home sick one day. I had some like awful, weird post-New Year's flu, and I was stuck inside, and it was raining outside, and it was just one of those days where it was just, there was absolutely nothing I can do. And so I went downstairs and I got my guitar, and I came back up, and I was like, I think I'm gonna write a song. And so I wrote What I Wouldn't Do, and I was like, whoa, wait a second. I think that just was a moment, like a real defining moment. And then I sort of just based the rest of the album on that. That was kind of like the door that opened that led me to the rest of the songs. New Heights is a song that I wrote with Jesse Siebenberg, who plays drums in the band, but he played piano. He came over to my place one day, and we were like, let's write a song. And he said, oh, well, I have this riff that I think you might like. And then he started playing it, and then the rest of the song just grew from there. And it was just one of those really easy, really organic moments where the song just kind of blossomed, and I really love playing it. It's very different because I don't normally write left-handed melody lines, so it kind of took me in a different way melodically, and also in a different way lyrically, which I thought was really challenging but cool. Electric Twist is a funny song. I wrote that kind of in a tired, spaced out state, and I was just kind of messing around, really, and I wrote that, and I was like, oh my god, this song's ridiculous, like it's so crazy, it's so different, and I was kind of like laughing at it almost. I don't know why, it was just so different for me that I thought, oh, this is crazy, but yet I was kind of addicted to it at the same point. We started working on it in the studio, and it was like having a little trouble getting it down, and then all of a sudden something just happened, and it just clicked, and it was magic, and it became something that I was laughing at to like something that just was right. I don't know, and it's just so much fun to play, and it's so much fun to sing, and it was, I don't know, it's one of my favorite songs on the record, I think. Blow Away it's a song about two people that can't seem to be together or apart, and sort of the things that you go through when a relationship is dissolving. And I actually wrote the melody of that song and the chords the morning that we recorded. We just were going to the studio, and I was like, ooh, I want to do something fun today, but I don't really have any fun songs left to do, so might as well just write something. And it was crazy. I wrote it at like 10 in the morning, and we recorded it at 1 in the afternoon, and it was just a big party. Writing lyrics for it was like a disaster, but then once I sort of dug deep and dealt with the story, it actually, it helped me a lot personally and helped me face some stuff that I really wasn't dealing with. So it ended up being great, even though quite challenging, because usually I do like lyrics and melody at the same time. I don't like write and record a song and then have to tell the story afterwards, but it's good. I'm really proud of it. Happier is a song that I actually wrote for a friend who is going through a really difficult situation. Sometimes when things are ending, it's so frustrating when the person says, like, you know, you'll be better off without me. You're gonna be, you know, and you're like, no, see, you're lying, because that's how you feel. So that's kind of what sparked that song. It's just the frustration and the sadness that leads to. Unfortunately, you know, I think I personally have been that person that does that to someone too before, and you know, it's also kind of the awareness that that's what happens. You know, you don't really want to hurt somebody, but you end up doing it no matter what. Swan Song. It's a song I started a long time ago actually, but never really knew where to go with it, and then just all of a sudden one day it opened up, and I don't know, I mean, I've really learned that life is just, it's quite complex, and you know, sometimes you do things and in the moment it feels so right, but then afterwards you just realize you've made a big mess, and it's quite scary to think that maybe you might have made a mistake. Yeah. Elements is a song about ill-fated love, really, and just how, like, sometimes a person can be more disastrous to you. Just a simple, living, breathing human being, not someone that hurts you physically, but it can be more amazing and yet more disastrous than anything in the whole world. Like, you can survive pretty much anything, but that person can just ruin you with anything, and just that fight to keep them away, it's quite massive sometimes. World Without, it's quite like a sort of a mythic song in some ways. It's just about, I mean, this whole album feels like it's about two totally messed up people trying to stay afloat despite all the odds, and sometimes it just feels like everything is against you, and like no matter what, like even if you're really trying hard, there's just no way you're gonna make it. And there's, you know, references to Heloise and Peter Abelard and things like that, just people that it just wasn't gonna work no matter what. So the world without, keep the worlds without if you can. Bird of the Summer is actually a song that I wrote on tour, and that song just gives me a lot of joy. When I was writing it, it was summertime, and it was just, everything was so golden and so warm, and you know, we were touring the US and just sort of looking out the windows and just seeing like these small towns and little fairs and country romances and stuff like that. It just seemed like there couldn't be anything better in the whole world, and yet still there's a lot of flight, and even those situations which seem like so sweet, there's still, if there's anything that could possibly be normal, I'd definitely find the heartbreak in it. Yeah. Stood Up is a song that I wrote during the time of, sort of the time right preceding the election. And it was a time when personally I had to make a lot of choices as far as my career and as far as like what I wanted to do and what sort of stamp I wanted to make with this particular album. And I was kind of leaning towards making a quiet, folky album that was kind of like what I was thinking I was going to do. And then this song just came to me, and I felt so strongly about it emotionally, and just about the power of grace, the power of hope, the power of integrity, and I actually, like, I wrote this song and then I just said, I can't deal with this, because it clearly needed to be orchestrated in a very full, very wild way. And I was kind of like, well, there goes my folk album out the window, because if I put this on, then I have to balance it with other things. But in a way, it was kind of like, okay, but you know what, I think I'm not in a completely quiet place right now, and I need to just embrace that. And I think the world isn't in a quiet place right now. It's a time of change. It's a time of explosive feelings of polarization, but also of unity, and I gotta go with it. So that's where that came from. The Beacon is probably the most difficult song for me to sing emotionally on this record. It's so sad. I think that sometimes just when someone hasn't been loved properly or given enough kindness, they're just sort of always damaged from that. And I didn't really know that for a long time, and then I finally kind of saw it, and it was just so heartbreaking that someone could be so amazing and yet not know it, because they'd never really been properly acknowledged. And there's a light in that, you know, in that it's very inspiring to see how great someone can be despite coming out of, you know, possibly quite dark circumstances, not even dark, but just barren. And yet you see like what the repercussions that can have on a person from their childhood and everything like that. And so that was kind of like the moment of really seeing someone for who they were and what they had been through. And it was quite hard, and it's still hard to sing, but I'm glad I wrote it.